Well, ridiculous. Let me explain. I was over at a friend's house. A bunch of mutual friends and close friends, a big group of us, just relaxing because, the past couple months I've had my head crammed in books, trying to figure out if I should go to trade school or college or what's going to get me a good future. It's so confusing. What do you do? But anyways, enough about that. So I just go there to unwind because I forgot what it's like to have fun. And I've been, doing all this, and I decided to, I'm just going to enjoy myself because, hey, might as well enjoy life while you have it. So, I guess the TV was on. I'm just sitting there, just relaxing, and what pops up? So, it always smacks you in the face even when you ain't looking for it. I think it's CBS's Face the Nation. And who's on there? Prime Minister of Israel, Mr. Benjamin Netanyahu. I think that's how you say his last name. And what was he talking about? The same thing he's been talking about for years. Iran and the nuclear bomb. And what was his talking points? America, us, has to be dominant with them. We have to let them know that we're going to use military force to stop them from having one nuclear bomb. Blah, blah, blah. It's a threat to the world. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, are you freaking serious? Then a whole discussion pops up. And I didn't chime in on it for a while. But you know what? The Israeli lobby has brainwashed a lot of people in this country. And I actually got in an argument with some of my friends. You know why? What was popping up? Oh, well, the Israelis are surrounded by a whole bunch of crazy Arabs. Everyone that surrounds them, every single one of them, and that's what he literally said, is crazy. They have to do whatever they can to defend themselves, even if it means being the only country in the Middle East. Wow. You serious? And, oh, well, the IDF is the greatest army in the world. They're protected by God. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, dude, I said, you're not hugging Israel so much. Didn't you forget that you're an American? Go over to Israel and join the IDF. Come on. I'm an American. I care about Americans the most. Not that I hate anyone else or I don't care about anyone else, but I only have the capacity to help the people in my country. I want this country to get up and help itself get better. I believe we shouldn't be giving foreign aid to anybody, especially Israel, because they use this whole theory that they have to be the aggressor. And let me tell you that being aggressor does not mean that you attack when you don't retaliate all the time. Being the aggressor is you being the aggressor all the time. Look what they did, I believe, a couple of days ago in Syria. They airstrike Syria, I think for the third or fourth time this year. And Syria didn't even do anything to them. The Assad government may not be friendly with Israel, but they haven't sent any of their troops over there trying to take land, or they haven't airstriked Syria. They haven't airstriked Israel, but Israel airstrikes Syria. It's amazing. The Zionist Israeli lobby want to send Americans to die in Iran for Israel. For Israel's interest. The Israelis don't want to do it themselves. They don't want to send the IDF over there. At best, they probably want to be a support. But they want Americans doing the dirty work. Americans dying in a war with Iran, which could possibly set off a world war. But Israel doesn't care. They don't want them having one nuclear weapon. Well, what about all the secret weapons that you won't even let the inspectors inspect? What about that? Kennedy knew about it. And we're talking about way back in the 60s. All the secret nuclear weapons that Israel has been building behind our backs. But no one says a peep of that. No, because they're God's children. They can do whatever they want. But you know what? At least not the God I'm thinking of. if they're such God's children, they wouldn't be doing the things that they're doing, like attacking the USS Liberty in the 60s and trying to get us to go to war with Egypt because they were trying to blame it on Egypt. Or they wouldn't be using us for our money and our manpower. Okay? It's amazing. You know, these Zionists, they're gonna, if they have their way, a lot of Americans are gonna be dying in Iran, and that's just the least bad thing that can happen. The worst thing is that a world war could set off. It's amazing. But and you know what? If you think the IDF is, I told my friend, I said, if you think the IDF is protected by God and they're holy and they can do no wrong and they're invincible, they're the greatest, because that's what he was saying. I'm not making any of this up. Well, I told him, I said, well, what about the 2006 war? Look up the statistics on that. They didn't do so hot, okay? They actually had to sign a ceasefire. I think they were fighting in Lebanon, and I think they were fighting Hezbollah. Don't quote me on it, but I believe that's what it was. It wasn't doing so hot. And if they were fighting Hezbollah, Hezbollah is a militia. Okay, Hezbollah may have Iran and Syria support, but Israel has the greatest war machines, the greatest war empire support, and that's us. Okay? And if Syria knows that if they were to ever do an airstrike on Israel, even though, according to Israeli principles, it'd be doing the right thing. Because Israel, all they're doing, what they're saying they're doing is retaliating. Because these crazy Muslims are going to attack them and wipe them off the face of the earth. But they can airstrike Syria all they want, and Syria can't do nothing, because if Syria even so much as tried to pull an airstrike or retaliate in some major way, boom, game over. They'd be wiped off the face of the earth. My friends, this is bullcrap. The Zionists had a lot to do with 9/11. The Zionists want our taxpayers' money to build up their army and do whatever they can. The Zionists wants us to die for them. They don't want to do anything, but they sure as hell don't mind trying to convince us to go over there and die. But don't you fall for it, because a war in Iran is not what we need right now. We should be focusing on us, making sure we're okay, making sure we help this crumbling economy, and making our kids brighter, and making the next generation's future bright instead of grim, because that's the way it's going. It's going grim. So let's focus on that instead of trying to get us into another war, because that's the last thing we need. Well, I might have sounded a little angry in that rant, but sometimes I just blow off steam. So have a great evening, night, morning, everybody, and there's just one more thing I want to say. Enjoy your life. Whether it is exercising, playing with your kids, holding your wife, being around nature, whatever, just enjoy your life, because you only have one. And yes, things can get crazy in this world, but you have, like Tupac said, even when things are crazy and things seem hopeless, you always have to have a sense of humor. Peace.